What I'm in the game to do is I had a game, had being the key word, in Sandbox 1.7. I played as Woofy, found the Maxwell machine, went through it, and instead of doing, I don't know, I screwed up when it was continue or whatever, and what I was going to do is go from Woofy to West, because I couldn't open up West from where Wickerbottom was. But Wagaze told me that the cap was still 10,000. So I figured if Woofy went through the Maxwell machine, then West would open, because he showed locked in if I just went to an empty file. So anyway, I did that. I got him, but inadvertently I started over on day one, on a World 1 day 1 instead of World 2 day 1. I played to day 7, as you can see, and that file is now gone today. Now, my Wickerbottom file seems to be fine, and this one seems to be gone. And what I had intended to do was cut an intro to the West file, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and maybe go ahead and start a new game with West. But I've already got this footage processed, so I'm going to go ahead and put it up. What I did, see, this is Sandbox 1.7, continue, and it's gone. Because why would it offer me Wilson if it was a continuation of Wes? And I've tried several times, and like I said, my Wickerbottom game is still there, so I don't know why it didn't save this, or maybe can't access it now. Obviously it saved it, or it wouldn't have a 1.7 save in there. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some Mime things with Wes, because I didn't do much with the Mime stuff, because I was trying to do a tutorial of how to do your first days. And there are a few errors in it. When I first made the science machine, I should have opened log armor in Spear, and I didn't. But other than that, I think most of it's fairly valid for the way I play. There are other ways to play. It is a sandbox, and even if you're in the adventure mode, there's a lot of different ways to get to where you want to go. So what I'm going to do is have him do some Mime stuff, and he'll probably die, because I'm not going to try to survive the first day. And if there's some interest in a tutorial and it's a beginner's tutorial, if there's some interest for that, I'll probably go ahead and re-accomplish the game. Although I may not. Wes is a bad one to play a tutorial for, because you have to really baby him with sanity, and you wouldn't have to do that. I was thinking about doing it with Willow, because she's not an OP character like I want to say Wolfgang, that you wouldn't have open at first. In some ways she's actually weaker than Wilson. Certainly no stronger, except she can't die at night by darkness. But anyway, this is an introduction to 7 days I played as Wes, but because I was mostly intent on surviving, I didn't do most of his Mime crap. So I'm going to do his Mime crap, and then process this and put it as the introduction to my 7 days as Wes, which was going really well, which is kind of a bummer. I had one of the things with Wes being, see, he only has 75 sanity, 75 health. Now 75 health isn't really that much less than Wilson with an effigy, except of course in his case he'll die. Although the way the effigies are now, it's not a good bet anyway. I will go ahead and save this. Maybe I will try to keep him alive. I don't know. Like I said, though, with that 75%, you're using bedrolls a lot quicker than you would have to with... I assume Wilson is still the first character you ever open. And so Wes isn't a valid tutorial of what you could do with Wilson, because he's so much weaker. And as I said in my 7-day game, what you want to do is gather everything you can get your hands on. Make a axe as soon as you can. If you see stone, make a pickaxe as soon as you can, because anytime you find stone, you might find gold. And by stone, I don't mean the flint. Like I said, this is a beginner's, but pick up every piece of food you find. So let's do some of his mime crap. Now I'm getting, oh, okay. See, we have an auto save at dawn. And these are his little mime actions. I guess I should have been in closer for that. Anywhere is fine. I usually try to pick a place where I can gather stuff that night. But like I said with Wes, well, I need to make a fire to, or else he's going to starve to death, to tell you the truth. Although he could eat this raw, he won't starve. Your food panel, if you're going to end up using a bedroll. In fact, we might want to stop, because I was thinking about using one tonight. So you need to open refining rope. Then you need to open bedroll. Now if he sits up all night, his sanity will slowly fall. So we're going to want to do that. I didn't open boards to refine stone because either I'll come back to this machine or build another. Straw hat I didn't open because it's not necessary. You can build other stuff on it. I think the shovel is necessary. If you run into beefalo, the razor is necessary. See, where are we? 61. To get to your stuff in fighting, you need 1 rope for spear and 2 ropes for your log armor. And then you should get your green on those, which shows they're open. Now that's your first weapon, and it's better for fighting than any of your tools are. The tentacle spike is still the best weapon for regular critters, not, you know, insanity monsters. Alright, we're at 54. If he gets very much lower, he's going to really be in rough shape. So I'm going to go ahead and do the bedroll. So we're 54. And this is why I think the size, see, he's back at full. And he just dropped 1 point. Now, what I was doing in my tutorialish thing was I wasn't cooking enough food before I left the fire. And it's important to have, and we could probably cook all these carrots because they'll keep a little while. Berries don't keep very long because they're fruit. Fruit usually less. I don't know if it's valid that root vegetables keep longer than other vegetables. Seeds, I don't know if 40 days was the original number on them, but I don't know if that's in the refrigerator or not. But really my only purpose was to do an intro for him and to, like I said, do some of his mime stuff. So let's do mime stuff and see if I can save him, and we'll just dump him. And I'll go on with a tutorial. Maybe I'd like to play. There's no big deal about Willow, except I've been playing Wilson so damn long. You used to be able to change characters through a tent, and you can't anymore. Alright, oh, okay, there it is. If you push shift left or right click, I think right click will do it too. Nope, that does pick. Do shift left click, you do examine, which usually they will say something, but being a mime, he plays the whole thing out. And that's what he does. And he is hard mode. He is the weakest of all your characters. Now all this crap, you can eat it raw, it just won't do as much for you. And I'm going to go ahead and overload, because I'm going to try this dump where I just dump the game and he moves on. Or he resets to the last autosave. And they may have changed it so it doesn't do that. Alright, the bird. Evidently we wave at birds. The flowers. Evidently the flowers are in a box that we need to pull. Graves tend to be, I think, mostly in dark forests. So I don't know. We might have Beefalo up here. He could, like I said, it seemed to me that his mime activities seemed very similar to one another. Yeah, see what I mean? Now here's more stone. This is in the other video, but I would always keep the spear and the armor in this bar, because if you throw on the armor, it drops your backpack, and if your weapon's in there, you just dropped your weapon. I said I wasn't going to do that, didn't I? I was just going to examine stuff. I wonder if I can hit a bee. Okay, the boulder. Ah, climbing a mountain. That's one I haven't seen. Well, I probably might have interrupted the little rat turd. No, now he's waving. So are these random? I thought that was some kind of cute boulders or mountains thing. I guess not. What about the seed, buddy? Well, let's do the bee if he's settled. Nope. Yeah, it seems to me they're basically just random patterns on, I don't know if I can even hit a butterfly. I mean, alright, that's a killer bee. And why the hell that's out, I couldn't tell you. Normally you don't get those unless you attack something.
And, with Wes, they're not the guys you want to be playing with. Yeah, there's that climbing the mountain thing, or riding a bicycle, perhaps. The gravy, actually, there are killer bees just at random. Now, somebody told me that they ran into a bunch of killer bees. It's, you know, if you see this many red bees, get the hell away from them. They can very definitely kill you. And if you get into it with one bee, you'll get into it with more.
Now, I don't know if they actually go into the hive at night or not. You don't want to meet these boys at nighttime. Wow, I didn't know they were doing that. No wonder he got himself in trouble. Because he was having trouble with sanity and killer bees and a bunch of other issues all at one time. And I told him, you know, you shouldn't be dicking with sanity at first, but why the hell are all these killer bees up here? That's new with this update. I have never seen killer bees without, yeah, they're just everywhere. Without somebody, just run from those little bastards. I think Wolfies could kite them, but I wouldn't do it with Wes. I think I could do it, but I don't recommend it as a policy. Alright, I'm going to try to dump this and see if we go back to the morning of day 3. And regardless, I'll go ahead and put up the first 7 days of Wes. And if there's some interest in me doing a tutorial of how I play the game, let me know. Alright, here's the dump. Alright, here we are in the sandbox. It's day 1-3. But I don't know if it saved it or not because it didn't save that other game. See? It doesn't show the game I have. So I wonder about these other save. No, this is his stuff. So it did save it this time. Now, I had cloud enabled, and I disabled it this morning. I don't know crap about the technical side of anything. And I just do whatever the hell the default is on stuff. But I guess cloud is more of an issue of playing from computer to computer, and I'm not going to be doing that. And I keep getting this, you may not get all your stuff because cloud blah, 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 blah. Alright, see, instead of doing save quit, which is here, I went up into the corner of my game screen and pushed X. And it brought us back to the last autosave. It was about to autosave for the night. So, but anyway, that's the end of this intro, and I'll do my first 7 days as Wes. But having to open up the science machine I think, it's important to open it very quickly in order to play him at all. I don't think he's a valid tutorial. Also, I think I've done most of his mime stuff. I don't know if there's any other mime crap he does, because he doesn't seem to be doing any stuff I haven't seen. And there for a while I thought it was, you know, appropriate to whatever he was doing, but it doesn't seem to be. And I do have him doing a grave in his first 7 days, doing his mime routine. And I think it actually has letters that says that is my grave, and then he does some little crap mime routine. But my only purpose in this was to introduce the first 7 days. Like I said, I started out as Woofies. I was going to go through the Maxwell machine, but I picked the wrong option. Instead of continue, I guess I did restart, because I thought it used to be there was a way. I think I went to main menu. There is a way to look at your map and select which map options, which research options, and evidently all that's programmed in now. So, but no more to be said. I'm just babbling. So this is an introduction to 7 Days of Wes, and the game chose not to save that. If there's interest in a tutorial, I will do a tutorial of how I play the game, which is by no means the only way, the best way, or anything else. It's just I have been asked to do that. A lot of people evidently are dying within the first week or in the first day or 3 days. And I hadn't seen those killer bees even in my 7 days. Stay the hell away from them. Like I said, if you kited them with woofies, but there's no benefit from fighting them. Find a lonely beehive to attack. Don't get tangled up with a ton of bees. They could definitely kill you. So